What about the quality of it? Has it been watered down? Or have you been able to condense the variations, the various versions into one?
The assurance I would like to give to the Nigerian people is that the PIB is a law. Until it is passed by the National Assembly as a law, there is nothing like various versions or different versions. What is passed from the National Assembly and finally assented to by the President will be the PIB. So until that is done, anything that is submitted is a proposal by somebody. And the truth of the matter is that in the course of making this law, everybody will have an opportunity to make a contribution. If you're a stakeholder or you are an interested party, there'll be a public hearing. There'll be an opportunity for people to submit memorandum and all that. So for Nigerians to sit down and make the assumption that the issues of the PIB has been decided or has been watered down, if you feel it's been watered down, you come up with your own version which you think is tight. But it's an open democratic process.
From where you stand, as someone who has investigated what's been going on in the sector, especially in the petroleum downstream sector, do you think, if you've seen the content of the PIB, because I know that the Ministry of Petroleum did make concerted efforts to make sure that this particular one making the rounds now is the original copy from their desk.
That's their desk. That's
exactly.
Their proposal.
Would you say that it does address in very clear terms the problems that we have in the petroleum downstream sector?
I would want to refrain from making very strong and specific comments on the PIB for obvious reasons. First is that I expect that as chairman of one of the committees in the Senate that deals with the petroleum sector, we will be given an opportunity as the committees to deal with the PIB. And I expect that Nigerians would assume that we're coming to that issue with an open mind. And so we'll be receptive to both what has been submitted by the executive and what input the industry players would make and what input ordinary Nigerians would make. So if I sit here and then start giving very specific opinions, I think that will one way or the other subtract from the true process when we come to it. If I wasn't chairman of a Senate Committee on Petroleum, I probably would air my views, and I have them. But I think that at this point, you know, what we need to do is to continue to pass the message to all Nigerians that this is an open process and that nothing has been decided. And that people would have an opportunity to make a contribution. But you must respect the executive version for the simple reason that, one, it is the executive that is saddled with the responsibility of protecting the national interest. So you can't just throw away what they bring. Secondly, they have the machinery and the personnel. I mean, these people have access to all the resources of the country to try to come up with something that is good for the entire country. So whatever they have brought, nobody would throw it away with a wave of the hand. But the point I want to make is that lawmaking is a democratic process in this country, and that process is open to all Nigerians. And an executive bill is an executive proposal. It does not preclude any other industry player or any other person or any other group or any other interest group from making their own proposal to the National Assembly. That's what it is.
Would you subscribe to the school of thought that the foreign interests who are interested in ensuring that we don't sort this thing out, or we're just the ones who need to sort it out and forget about whatever interest they may be?
I think that I would say three things on this scope. First, I don't think that foreigners have anything to gain from Nigeria not making progress in the oil sector. The bulk of the foreigners who are interested in Nigeria's oil are businessmen. So if you create an atmosphere where they can make more money, they'll be happy with it. Nigeria on its own in the international oil industry, we can't make money without involving the international players in the industry because oil is an international business. So I think that a proper law that helps the industry will be one that also helps the international companies, helps the local companies, helps the Nigerian people, and helps the Nigerian government. It has to be a fine balancing act. So to think that foreign companies don't want Nigeria to change because they do, I don't think that is correct. They are companies, they are shareholders.
Because
Some
they're
of the
benefiting
shareholders may
so
even be
much.
Nigerians.
Well, most of the people will say because they're benefiting so much from it. But, you know, you recently conducted an investigation into why the disparity in prices depends on where petroleum products are sold, especially PMS. Would you say that you were satisfied with the answers that you were given?
I wouldn't say I was satisfied with the answers I was given, but I would say that given the clear constraints of the moment, I was satisfied that the people who are charged with the responsibility of moving products and managing product supplies were doing the much they could under the circumstances that were operational at that
What are the
moment.
circumstances?
Quite a lot.
Because there are a host of theories
run,
out there.
But before we run, I want to use this opportunity to say something that I think is very topical at this point. I'm from Rivers State, and looking through the papers and all the noise that have been on over the past couple of days, the impression everybody gets is that there's some border dispute between Rivers and Bayelsa State. And I just want to use this opportunity to say clearly that there is no border dispute between Rivers and Bayelsa State. There is none. There was a mistake in an administrative map, which Bayelsa used the opportunity of that mistake to take some revenues that were due to Rivers State from oil produced in communities that are in Rivers State. That's just what there is to it. So it's not a border dispute. Nobody says the border has shifted. Nobody is shifting the border. And another thing that I also want to point out, how come all this issue of border disputes and border amendments is always only in the Niger Delta? Why don't you have anybody trying to shift the border between Zamfara and this, or somebody trying to shift the border between Kebbi and Sokoto? Why is it always between Rivers and Bayelsa and Rivers and Akwa Ibom and Cross River and Delta? And is oil now a border
Commodity.
commodity? I just don't understand it. So I just wanted to make that point.